been calling them a fraud. That's maybe not fair to A&M because Missouri's got a lot of talent. I think they should win this weekend, and heck, they'll be 6-1. That's a solid team, but they are a playoff fraud based on what I've seen.
Hello, friends, and welcome into the TexAgs Rewind presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Jasper hanging out with us. What's up, Jasper?
Howdy, how y'all doing? I'm doing good.
I thought you were going to jump a yo-yo-yo.
No, it's howdy.
But earlier you did a yo-yo-yo.
Well, we gig 'em Aggies and it's howdy.
Yeah, well, okay, this is true. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hey, what was your favorite part of the show today?
Favorite part of the show? Just the randomness from Billy Liucci. That was...
We learned about platypuses. Or wait,
yeah.
How do you say it again?
Platypi.
Platypi. Yeah, we learned a little bit about them. We did talk football on the show. Polanski, what was your favorite part?
I liked SEC Mike. I thought he was good. I know he's controversial, but I like him.
What do you like about him?
I like.
You like that he's controversial, and then he has to recant what he says the week prior? Is that what you like? Or do you like me going for the first question always about something ridiculous that he said? What do you like the most?
I think he's funny and he's entertaining to listen to.
He is entertaining. That he is.
And I think he's very positive about the Aggies right now.
Well, right. How can you not be?
Well, yes, but...
See, we're going back and forth here. Cade, you're on my team or McKinley's team on this?
I would say, let's see, I'm on your team.
I like Mike.
I love Mike. He's a very opinionated fellow. We'll say that.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of the show today?
Well, I'll say the final countdown with Steve McKinney.
Steve McKinney. Yeah, no doubt about that. And anything else we have to add? We had Billy. Oh, we had OB. OB said something controversial. I don't know what, but it's a Friday, so I'm sure he did. It's the Rewind. Check it.
Le'Veon Moss.
You got to watch him. It's fun to watch him.
I'm going to find one on each side of the ball.
Okay.
So Le'Veon Moss, and I'm going to leave one for you, the obvious one on defense for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to take the guy that I really have been impressed with lately, and I think A&M needs to play well in the secondary. How about Dalton Brooks?
Dalton.
He is playing some football now.
The best Dalton name we've said on this show ever.
Yeah, this guy.
It's getting huge.
Yeah, this guy. This Dalton is huge. He's Dalton huge.
And there's no halfway with him or half day. No, he's all day.
So as long as he,
well,
as long as there's no target,
he's had a couple of short days,
half days. But I really like what I'm seeing from him, and I think the secondary, he could be a factor in denying those big plays.
Yep.
That Mississippi State has a tendency to have.
Well, I'm really excited about seeing the encore performance from Connor Wigman offensively.
Yeah.
He does not, for me, he does not have to throw for 300 and I'm actually going to bank on something later, but he doesn't have to do that for me to be impressed with him. I just want to see efficient passing, command of the offense.
Get it to the right guy.
Right? And I think you're going to get some yardage passing, and I think you're going to get some yardage running. On the defensive side, Nick Scorton, I think he alone could have the 3.5 sacks we were talking about. I hope several people were involved in that, but how can you not? Nick Scorton, everybody's talking about him. I think he is now Mel Kiper. What did he have in McKinley? Somewhere in the notes. I think number 5 or 6 on his big board. He is worthy of that. 6.5
tackles for loss just in the last 2 games. Some guys will go a whole season without 6.5 tackles for loss. He has 6.5 in the last 2 games, if I've got that right.
Yep. All right. Let's do Mississippi State players.
There's a player on defense. I was watching their game against Georgia and just trying to get some ideas on him. He's number 44. His name's Brandon Jennings. I think there was an Aggie named Brandon Jennings who's a good football player. And this guy, this guy can play. He's their jack position. So outside rusher, I see him off the line up on the right side of the defense quite a bit. He deflected the ball that was intercepted last week. Carson Beck was.
That was early in the game. Yeah.
Right, early in the game. He's the one who deflected it, and it led to an interception. They got a field goal out of that. And the more I watch him, I'm thinking 44, Brandon Jennings, that guy's a player. And he strikes me as being the best player on their defense. Now, they'll tell you it's a guy named Isaac Smith, their safety. But when I'm watching him, the one guy that just jumped out at me, Brandon Jennings.
Initially, you made the comment about Kyle Field not being top 5. Then you changed after the Missouri game. What was it about that Missouri game that changed the, I forgot how you phrased it, but top difficult places to play in the SEC, I think is what you said. Why was that Missouri game the one that kind of changed the way you looked at it?
Yeah, Missouri fans have been hurting ever since then. And again, I don't know what other takeaway you could have. I mean, there was two teams in that game. One was billed as a possible playoff contender, and one was, we'll see. And I don't know how you come out of that game any other way. Again, it was a 11 a.m. kickoff. Missouri was rattled. They looked. I've been calling them a fraud. That's maybe not fair to A&M because Missouri's got a lot of talent. I think they should win this weekend, and heck, they'll be 6-1. That's a solid team, but they are a playoff fraud based on what I've seen. The real playoff team coming out of there is Texas A&M, who just looks dominant, running the ball and stopping the run. That's been just so awesome to see. But I mean, I run my mouth for a living, and when I'm proven dead wrong, I like to correct my ways. I think that's the way most people should be. So I apologize to the 12th man. They look dynamic, but really, if you go back and watch the clip that really caused all this, I didn't even say they weren't top five. I said, are they? And Aggies kind of went and ran with it. So, of course, knowing me, I went the other way and threw Oklahoma in better than them.
80-yard touchdown, 72-yard, 64-yard. Like and that's, if there's been an issue defensively with A&M, it has been the big plays, if you're going to point at an issue. And that's something that they do well.
They do. And look, I think I watched Van Buren enough to see he's a very dangerous runner. He's actually a really dangerous runner, but you can tell they're trying to kind of not get him killed because they're already on QB2 and we're at the midway point of the season. With that said, he hasn't thrown many picks. He misses some of the easy stuff, which sets them behind the chains. He is a dangerous deep ball thrower. This receiving core is absolutely to be respected. These dudes could certainly be playing a lot at Texas A&M, the receivers, and they can get behind a defense. Thing is, I don't want to go too far down this road. Like the Aggie defense and Mississippi State, I kind of expect them to hit a couple of shots down the field. And the key is, is it a couple or is it three? And do you tackle them after the catch and they kick field goals, or is it 6 points they produce, or is it three, or is it 14? What? So, but they're going to test the Aggie defense and they'll hit some. But I also think with that it's going to come an interception or two. I think with that is going to come with that offensive line. No matter how you saw Taylor Green, how mobile he was, he took an absolute beating. Brady Cook took an absolute beating. If you try to throw down the field and your offensive line is not very good, you're putting your QB in some real harm's way. And that's what A&M was fighting with for the last couple of years. And you saw that a lot with Max Johnson just taking a pounding because he took a long time to get rid of the ball and you didn't have an O-line. I'm not saying Van Buren takes a long time to get rid of the ball, but when you start dialing up those long, slower developing routes and the deep stuff, you got a chance of getting pummeled. And so then it becomes, well, how willing is Mississippi State to continue that and put their quarterback out there to take those kind of hits, or how able is Van Buren to avoid that pressure? It's hard to avoid it, though, when they're coming off the edge and when they're coming up the middle.
If you look at the injury report, let's see. Let's take a look at the ones that are on there are the ones we knew. Jalen Henderson is doubtful. Terry Bussey is probable. TJ Shanahan is not listed on there. So I think for where we are offensive line-wise, as healthy as you can be.
You got Shanahan back. You got, Fathery and what's the other guy's name? Right tackle. So
Crownover?
Crownover, yeah. Yep. So you got at least seven, and then Dewberry. So you got 8 healthy linemen. You're good on the line.
You're good. I think we got another one from Coach Mike.
Yes, we do. Coach Mike says, just in the past 3.5 seasons, the Aggies have home victories against 4 future NFL quarterbacks: Bryce Young, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Spencer Rattler. Oh, and the Aggies won each game with a backup quarterback.
Good point.
That's pretty interesting.
Boom.
I didn't think about that. They won each game. Of course, that's all they've been playing with are backup quarterbacks the last few years. So that's
Yes.
But as we've seen, not just at A&M, but around the country, you better have a couple good ones. And
Yeah.
I said yesterday, Steve, to get to 5-1, the path getting there, if you'd have told me you get to 5-1, you get to pick how it happens. In other words, you could beat Notre Dame, lose another one. You could have Connor Wigman be the Heisman Trophy front runner. Maybe I'd take that. But this is the path the door I would have selected.
Yeah.
You're 5-1, but you lost a close one in Notre Dame, and then you've won everyone since. You've won a couple SEC games by more than 2 scores and really dominated the games. You have a top 10 win at home. You've got to play your backup quarterback to where he started 3 games for you and prove that he not only could do it, but he could do it at a very high level. Your starting quarterback, as we enter the mid-season mark, clearly has a chip on his shoulder to prove what he's about after the injury and the game against Notre Dame. And both your lines of scrimmage are looking great. You've got the SEC's leading rusher and the best defensive line in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Scorton's playing like a first-team All-American. All of these things, and then on top of that to say, oh, by the way, your last game you played, you beat a top 10 team 41-10 and made them quit. And it, oh, by the way, happened to be the best game that your offense has played all year.
So, hey, I'm going to read this real quick because I forgot to read it earlier. Hunter Goodwin left this for me. So this is something about coaching in the NFL. Strategic change in the NFL. Bill Belichick, 72. Pete Carroll, 73. No longer on the sidelines. NFL coaches are now 43 years of age. Analytics have taken hold of the front office and coaches' meetings. 2 years ago, NFL coaches went for it on 4th and 1 about 30% of the time. During the first 5 weeks of the season, teams went for it in the same situation 70% of the time. Just a little note there. That's from the Pro Football Talk, Washington Post. It was Washington Post. Jasper, tell the people what to do. I knew this was coming. What do you think the people should do? If you were to suggest something at the end of a YouTube video, what do you think you would suggest people to do?
Watch Aggie football.
Yeah, I suggest that. What else on this particular kind of environment that we're in?
Oh, this? I mean, obviously, like and follow TexAgs.
There you go. Comment, subscribe, anything else?
Subscribe.
Polanski, you knew it was coming.
Yes, I did. Like, comment, subscribe, repost the tweets. Yeah.
Yo, 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 and howdy, howdy. And see you next time.